Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6, Northern Indiana. And I am Nate's AI avatar, so you can direct all questions towards me, okay? And I will answer you appropriately, okay? Now, man, so guys, let me know where you're growing at and what have you got growing so far? And we've got a bird in the house now. So Petey is a bird. Camille and Tegan just moved in. So they're here full time. So is their stuff, you know? And so we've got a lot more plants and there's a bird. And I'm not exactly sure how Shiva is going to, well, let's just say Shiva has not left the bird's side, the cage of the bird. Okay. So, we're not sure how that's going to work. The bird likes to fly around and stuff inside the house, but the cat literally eats birds all summer long. And that's her job, is to rid us of, that's her one and only job. That's why I got her in the first place, is to control the pests in the house. And she does a magnificent job at it. Before Shiva, we were totally overrun by mice, eating our potatoes in the basement, eating our winter squash. I'm going to get into showing you guys some potato stuff, eating our winter squash and things like that. And once I mean, nothing I could do would stop them. Rats as well. Rats were up in here, and they're city rats that are not. They're super weary of like traps. You can't trap them. They won't mess with the traps. They won't do any of that kind of stuff. So because the ones that were not weary of the traps didn't survive to reproduce, and the ones that were weary of the traps are the ones reproducing, you know. So it was a really difficult getting rid of them. Got Shiva, that was it. No more mice or rats. I mean, so it's worked really good. And chipmunks were all up in the garden, taking out whole entire rows. I'd plant a whole row of peas, and then I'd be out there watching the chipmunks just take one, stuff two of them up in their cheeks, run away, hide them, come back. Run away, hide them, come back. Totally ridiculous. And then I had to get the little air rifle and stuff, and that just chipmunks like this big and super fast from 40 feet away. Not so much. So yeah, that's so Shiva, you know, is literally designed to eat birds. And so I don't know how it's going to work with this bird. Let me know your thoughts. How do you think it's going to work? Will they just get yeah, Kathy titles, yes, I'm an ex-landlord. No birds. Yes, I get it. I do see the crap all over the place from that. They are messy little animals, but at the same time, they're not meant to be in a cage. I mean, we're taking the one animal that has the amazing ability to fly, the dream of many humans to fly, and we're putting it in a cage so we can look at it. I mean, gosh, it just seems like putting our feet in concrete, you know? But, yeah. Who's your daddy says, you might as well kiss that bird goodbye. Yeah, I'm trying to, we've been laying the foundation for Tegan. We've been saying, look, because she's a 10-year-old girl, and she feels, you know, things very deeply. And so we have been telling her, you know, Tegan, you know, that someday we're going to come home and the bird will have gotten eaten. And she's like, yeah, no, I know. But until you experience it, you know, we'll see. She's strong. So, yeah, St. Max, yeah. Yes. Oh, I know, Big West. Mike Tyson has birds. He loves birds. Pigeons. He loves to keep birds. That's a thing they used to do in New York, but they probably still do in some areas. Fly them around and stuff, and have different, you know, training patterns and things like that. So pretty cool. Guys, did anyone see my video yesterday about the AI stuff? Pretty insane, right? Just so happens that's the best performing video on my channel ever. You know, so okay, that figures. But we don't have to get too heavy into that because I said everything in the video. I said everything in the live, you know, but I'm sure we'll get into that at some point. But Let us talk a little bit about gardening first. So I want to that. Okay, let's try this one. Yashiana. Hey Nate, how essential is the salt in the Jadam microbial solution? Can it be substituted by something else? And what exactly is it for? That is a great question. And I found over the years, the salt is actually, well, it's not necessary to the functioning of the microbial solution. I'll say that. It is in there for the perceived micronutrient efficient deliverance. Okay. Now, I found it's not something that I want to do, putting salt, because even sea salt is way primarily sodium chloride. I mean, it's primarily salt, which is not what we want in the garden. So Jay Dom, Young Sung Chao has some different opinions on that. My opinion is that it really doesn't have much of a place in the garden, because I feel that using it consistently gave me problems over a couple of seasons of using it. It gave me problems in the specific area that I was using it repeatedly. So it's just not necessary, especially if we are using things like azomite, a good rock dust, as I talk about in the course. And so if we're using something like that, then there's absolutely no need. We don't need the micronutrients that is supposedly delivered by the sea salt. It's just too risky. So I omit it completely. But that being said, I don't make JMS anymore because I don't need to, because I'm not stuck, because my soil is thriving, and I had some money to invest in an air stone and an air pump and a 55-gallon drum and stuff. So I prefer aerated compost teas dramatically more than the JDOM microbial solution. For several reasons. One, because you can add more things to it, way more things. So the microbial solution is good for restoring totally dead soil. But the aerated compost teas you can give real nutrients with as well. You can put in the fish fertilizer and the worm castings and some of the guanos and stuff like that, based upon different recipes of whatever you want done, while still giving tremendous microorganisms. And it's aerobic, entirely aerobic, which smells fresher and more delicious. Even though technically the JMS is also aerobic, we're just consuming the oxygen that is already dissolved in the water. But I still think it's really good that people start in the beginning by making JMS, because it shows you directly how microorganisms work, how the population, you can see directly by the bubbles, the microorganism activity, and how it kind of starts slow and then it ramps up really fast and it peaks, and then it's done after that. Once they multiply every 20 minutes in ideal situations, the microorganisms, they double. So if you know anything about exponential growth, you know that, like, for a while, nothing really seems to happen. A little bit happens, and then all of a sudden, it just gets to an unbelievable degree. And that's evident when you observe the microbial solution. So, but then it dies off fast because the air and the food has been eaten. So that is, you can totally omit the salt without any worries. Okay. Yeah, and now understand that in the book, the Jadam says that it's restoring the minerals and all that stuff. And okay, so that's his opinion on that. That's not my opinion on that. So just saying. Yes. That's funny. You thought Tyson, the food chicken people. Yeah, Tyson chicken nuggets? No. Yes. So thank you guys. Yes. Thank you guys. So we got tons of awesome outpouring on the video yesterday. Super grateful for that. Grateful for people reaching out saying, yeah, we want the human related content. You know, we're here for the human content, because instead of Backyard Bill and his, lost, secret, suppressed, government banned Amish ways of watering, like, oh, clickbait, got to get the clickbait, in there. And then it's just like a bunch of B-roll that doesn't mean anything and a bunch of images that don't actually exist. It's frying people's mind, their ability to tell what is real and what is not. And they'll just see a picture of you know, something, and the mind has no defense against that. The picture looks totally real, and so the mind just stores that as an actual thing that happened, even if you're not consciously thinking about it. That's how the mind works. If you know me from the Thrive channel, then you know we go deep into the structure and the functioning of the mind and the subconscious mind. And so all that matters is the image, and the AI has gotten so real that people just goes into their mind and forms their thoughts and their memories. And so they think that, oh, the Amish did it this way, and this soil has been banned by the government. So what is it? Oh my gosh. It's not that serious, guys. You just need to grow food, and you need to do it in a way that uses the OG gardener, and that is Mother Nature. And we can do that easily. Yes? So let us see here. Teats, $10. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the contribution. Says my cold compost is basically a big worm bin. I use that compost for my compost tea. I'm not adding more castings. Any problems here? Course has me at a career year for greens. Nice. So you've had lots of greens. Good. Sounds good. So your cold compost, cold compost basically turns into a worm farm. That's why when I was doing it that way, and people were like, do you also keep worms? I'm like, no, because if you go out to my compost and you take a handful, I mean, it's just infested with worms. I mean, there's just composting worms tangled up, just digesting all that stuff. If you watch the video I made probably 3 years ago now about cold compost, even though I don't use cold compost anymore for several reasons, I would, but not here. It's perfectly fine. That is going to be good stuff, definitely. Just let it break down all the way. Okay, so if you're using it for your compost, the thing about cold compost is it takes a lot longer to reach maturity. It takes a lot longer to reach maturity because you want it to be totally broken down. You don't want partially digested, molding, rotting food scraps in your compost tea. You don't want to multiply potential pathogens and stuff like that. So make sure it gets completely digested. That's very important. Now, the cold compost it's good because it's very low work, and it's done by worms mostly, and other different types of microorganisms. But it has several drawbacks. Number one, the rats. It attracts rats big time, and they're almost impossible to keep out. I built it with hardware cloth and all that stuff, and they just chew whole through the thick gauge plastic. They will just chew through it to get to it. I mean, it's their food source, so they get into it, burrow all up in it, and then you just created a home for the rats. And every time you dump your slop out there, the rats just go to town. So we're not going to have that. And number two is that it does not kill any weed seeds. So your compost, if it's anything other than food scraps, will be filled with weeds. Now, hot compost, on the other hand, is not done by earthworms or by worms. It's done by microorganisms, primarily bacteria. And so it's much cleaner as far as potential pathogens and things like that, but it's also much faster, way, way, way faster. It requires a bit more work, of course, and specific ingredients, but in my opinion, it produces a better result, definitely. So that's what I use for my stuff. When I make compost in batches. Say, okay, I'm going to start the compost. Here it is, and then turn it a few times, and then let it digest, and then store that. And that's what we use. So Yes. Da Veg says, my kids found a kitten in the woods near our house. We named him Woody, and he has officially become my favorite cat of all time. Super smart, annihilates mice and rats, garden protector. Yes. A cat is a wonderful thing to have around. When we get the land, one of the first things we're going to do is get 2 Maine Coons, the biggest ones we can possibly find, and let them breed a little bit. So we'll have a massive gaggle of Maine Coons running around the property. So because they're the things that really destroy the garden are voles, mice, rats, chipmunks, and birds. Okay. We virtually can't grow peas here because the lady next door has all these bird feeders out, and for whatever reason, it just attracts huge flocks of sparrows. Sparrows are the worst kind of birds. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but they're the worst kind of birds. 1, because they're kind of ugly, and 2, because they seek out all the other birds and destroy their eggs. They'll go up into their nest, they'll wait till the other birds are gone, and then go peck the eggs and kill out the competition. And they eat the growing tendrils of plants. And so the peas are just ravaged by these flocks of sparrows that just shred the soft growing tips of the peas. Okay, so massive issue. I mean, the peas were so annihilated they won't even grow. I mean, it looks like you just took a shotgun and just blasted them, and they're just all frayed. So I figure 5 or 7 Maine Coons running around will take care of that. And now that we use the full Viking growing system, we're not concerned about the cats digging in the garden. It don't happen anymore. We solved it. We solved the issue of cats destroying everything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, VA Green says, my girlfriend used some vinegar and salt combination for weed killer. Almost killed my azaleas and Camellia. Yes, that is a weed killer. Now, the salt concentration is much higher, of course, but the principle is the same. And I've even read things where the Romans, after they would sort of conquer a place, one tactic that they did sometimes was to salt the earth, is to make sure that the crops couldn't grow for a couple of years by applying huge amounts of salt or salt water, something like this, to the actual earth. Now, I'm not 100% on the validity of that, but I would have to check. But I have heard this before, several times. Use Brondo. It has electrolytes. It has what plants crave. Yeah. More and more, that movie is just becoming a documentary. Yeah, I don't really get into SEA 90 either, because it is another of the very clever marketing campaigns that it is literally just partially hydrated seawater. I mean, it is. We used to use it in California, and it was super expensive at the time. I mean, at that time, really expensive. And there was all different kinds of variations of it, the sea minerals and all that kind of stuff. But man, if you guys are using, well, there's just other products that are so much better, and there's still lots of sodium chloride in the C90. Yes. Jeremy says, Nate, what editing software do you use for making the videos? Whoops. Well, I used to use iMovie. For several years, I just used the native feature on the Mac, iMovie, but now I use Premiere Pro. And I had to learn all that for the courses, so it's like really totally different level. And since I started making videos again this year, like the last 5 or 6 videos have all been with the Premiere Pro. So very different software. Yes. Yes. So guys, yes, definitely. So I've got some questions about potatoes and stuff, and so we are chitting the potatoes right now. Okay, so we've got potatoes chitting. Now we've got let's see. Oh, $5. Thank you, Donald Hughes, my friend. Thank you for the contribution. Says thanks for the Viking knowledge. Got my sweet potato problem solved. Buy from farmers market to eat and grow leaves for salad. Well, okay. I'm not 100% sure that's a solution, but it's good enough. Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to eat sweet potatoes, just buy them from, I mean, yes. But really, once you find the sweet spot, it's going to be good because we've been having to, we bought sweet potatoes from the organic co-op here, and they are big and um, pretty, but they taste of water. I mean, they're just, when the product is sold by weight, the incentive is to make them heavy. So remember, guys, show me the incentive and I will show you the outcome, meaning that people do what they're incentivized to do. And so when you're incentivized to make your stuff as heavy as possible, you will find a way to do that, even organically. And so the organic stuff, there's things you can give these plants in certain times and stuff like in certain ways that will swell them up with water. Water is 8 pounds a gallon. And so very heavy. So if we can just get these things to swell with water, now we're going to have much more money, which is the reason for the whole business in the first place. So, like I often say, if people were paid on nutrient density, imagine that. If there was some kind of magical thing we could run it quickly through a scanner and you got paid by nutrient density of your crop, then all of a sudden people would become, okay, how can we get the most minerals? How can we have the richest, most beautiful soil, food web, and activity for the food? Then all of a sudden everybody would become super healthy. But we don't. We have weight, so which is the worst possible metric for that kind of stuff. But it's the easiest to quantify. So, because the ones that we grow ourselves, even if you go to the organic store and you get the garnet yam, which is not a yam, it is a sweet potato. They just say yam, and you grow slips from that, and then you plant them and you grow them. Even if they're not nearly as big or whatever way they are going to be so much more flavorful than the ones that you get from the store, than its mother plant tuber, because of the growing techniques. This is why, and the mineral density of the soil, and that you're not over and over, mining the soil for its nutrients. We're replenishing with all the different methods and stuff. So that's why flavor is a directly correlates with nutrient density and things like that. So, okay, so let's see here. Yasha says, I grow sweet potatoes. Was wondering, is there a substitute for wood ash in the bloom fertilizer? As I can't get wood ash. That's fine. You don't need wood ash. I'm not sure exactly which one you're talking about or what you're talking about, but you don't need wood ash. It's just cheap. It's super cheap. So, like I'm always saying, there's ways to do it where it's either the super cheap method, or the super convenient and easy to access and repeatable method. I did a podcast actually like 2 days ago or earlier this week. It was like Monday or Tuesday. It's not out yet though, on a channel that you guys have suggested, it was Mr. Grows It, I think. So, and he asked me about wood ash several times. And so I gave him, my new perspective on it, or my evolved perspective on using wood ash. It can be really wonderful, definitely, if you need to. But it's also very inconsistent and not repeatable. So there's several things to think of. It's much deeper than that. So ooh, very cool. Jeremy says, thanks, Nate. I might be vlogging my Pacific Crest Trail hike, and I'm going to start looking at editing software. Yes, it depends. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to just take clips, which is what I recommend from your like on the go and stuff, you can just have CapCut. Just use CapCut. It's all about mobile. And so you can, if you're going to be taking mostly like this, vertical footage for YouTube or for shorts and Instagram and stuff like that, or TikTok, very, very easy to use, very user friendly. Everything's already thought of. Premiere Pro it's like professional editing software, and you got to learn this stuff, and every little variable is controllable, so nothing's automatic. But once you eventually learn it and you have a big desktop computer with all the stuff, it's amazing. I mean, you have unbelievable control. But I would just use actually probably iMovie. That's what iMovie would be perfectly adequate, and you could do vertical or horizontal. And so you can some of the best content nowadays, especially with all the AI slop and stuff, is just whip out your phone and start recording what you're doing, to take it old school again, and then just compile little clips of what you're doing. That's literally what our content is going to be moving towards in the future as we are on this new journey. Yeah. Yes, Luna, I did the Mr. Grow It podcast. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, guys, look at what we got in the mail. So we've got the purple Viking potatoes, which I thought we had before, but they were not actually the purple Viking potatoes. They were just purple potatoes grown by the Viking. So these are actually what is officially called Viking purple potatoes. And this is $22. Okay? $22 for this little thing. Now, you can guarantee that we are going to cut these big time because there was so little. But these apparently are super delicious for fresh eating and for baking and stuff. So, but they don't store all that well, apparently, allegedly. So we're going to grow these. We're going to see what they're like. We're going to eat them. They're a white flesh. They call them purple Vikings, but they're actually a white flesh. So, that's what it is. Now, yes. So this is what we're going to do with things like this. So see, we're chitting the potatoes. Now, this is a perfectly chitting potato. Okay. We are going to take this. Now, you can just plant them whole like that, but it's unnecessary because each one of these is going to be a plant. So what I'm going to do instead, or it's going to be a vine. So I'm going to cut it we'll probably go like 1, 2, 3. We'll probably get 3. We're probably going to cut it into 3 sections, this potato, and then do it that way. And we will get more potatoes than just plopping this big one into the ground. That has been my experience, at least. But you don't got to get crazy with it. If you get crazy and you try to cut each little eye out and stuff, it's not going to have enough stored solar energy to poke up through all the soil and all the straw and stuff. So you got to give it enough, energy to get up through the soil. Okay. If you got this tiny little thing, there's ways you can do it. Yes. If you wanted to, like one of you guys was in a competition several years ago about, each person got the same exact weight of a potato and see who could grow the most weight from that one potato. It was like a contest. So they came up with all different kind of methods, and cutting each one, turning it into a plant, and then cloning those plants, those vines and all that stuff. So that's super cool. But if you're trying to just grow the maximum amount of food, like for the least amount of work, you're not doing all that. You're definitely not doing all that. So like, for example, this, I'm just going to put it in the ground. This is the French fingerling. I'm just going to put it in the ground like this. We got dozens and dozens of them this is from last year. We just brought them upstairs. Probably going to cut this one. These are some red New Orleans. Probably going to cut this one like this, probably into two. Yeah. What's up, Tsunami Tommy? Yes. So DW says, Nate, so what's the difference between sweet potato and yam? They're actually completely different. And the yam is, we don't really have them in this country. They are like wood. They're more like wood. They look more like a log, actually. And they're very, very tough. And the outside is very hard and looks like tree bark. But and they can be much bigger. They can be huge. Sweet potato is the morning glory family. So they're impossible to kill, just about. So yeah, guys, what is your suggestions for what kind of content should be coming up in the future? Okay, because I'm kind of at the turning point, as I said yesterday in the video, that we've kind of done all of the free information giveaway stuff to get stolen that we want to do, and so I'm not finding like what's the big incentive. The live streams, I love doing that because it's like we're all hanging out, and that's different. But even that, people are just downloading the transcripts and then making their Nate bots and stuff. Whatever. And like I said in the video, I'm not really hating on them. I'm just, because those are the tools. Those are the tools that we have. And so as a human being, we are tool users. And so we're going to use those tools. I use AI every day to build my business. I use it to show me how to build the software, how to build the course, the actual intricate workings. I mean, without it, I would not have been able to do it. So it's got hugely positive, I want to be very clear, AI's got majorly positive capabilities as a tool. But the way that it's being used, especially by that one guy that in the beginning of the video that I showed you, I was like, so many dots connected in my mind. Once I saw that, and it was like just all the dots connected. That's how they're doing it. That's how I hear literally some of my own sentences in these videos and stuff that I know nobody else says in the way that I do. And then you see some of the stock footage and it's literally Gary Pilarchik's hand with a tomato sprayer. And I said, okay, I know you stole that from his video, and you piece the scripts together from several different creators, not just from one, but you can upload with the AI thing. You can upload my script, M.I. Gardner's script, and Gardner Scott's script, and then have them use that based upon this script, make one that's superior to all of them and super engaging. Okay, it does that. So it's just, and the AI doesn't have to like look at the camera, isn't held accountable for anything. It's not, it doesn't have to, nobody cares because it's faceless. It's all just, it's like the people that are keyboard warriors on the internet, oh, they're going to say what they think about you and all this stuff behind their keyboard. But if they were in my face, I guarantee you they would not be talking like that. I've never been talked to the way that people do online because they're all safe behind their keyboard, So it's kind of the same with the AI. Like I just make this faceless AI video. Dumb. He even said, I make this dumb AI videos and pay me $24,000. $24,000. Okay. So, whatever. So that being said, yeah, the plan is, guys, we are going to be getting out of here in 3 years. So, we need to find land in that time. Camille and Tegan has moved in, and we are starting the family. So with those things in mind, the only way that I can bring the content with us is that if it becomes like a story of our life, still going to be plenty of really good content, of course, and to me it will be so much more enjoyable to make, instead of just like, sit down, here's some hard-earned knowledge that someone can just steal and do better. Okay, let me just give it away for free. Okay, so I'm not feeling inspired to do that anymore. I've already done that. So especially now that all my methods have been refined over the years, and I've like perfected things, I've really perfected things and distilled them. I'm always constantly adjusting things. So even the NateBot 1.0 or whatever is going to be outdated. It's still, that's what worked for me at the time, and will still work, but it's not the best way. It's not the best, most distilled way, because I'm always refiguring things, always reevaluating, in a perpetual state of distillation. Yeah. So that's where we're moving, And Camille, want to come down here for a minute? So I just want to have you guys have a chance to chat with Camille for a minute. Because she's going to be a big part, and Tegan's going to be here a lot, and Camille's going to be here a lot. She's going to be on the videos, and she's going to be in the videos and stuff. And as we get land and all that, and she's a massive part of this,
Yes.
So I'm actually just going to give her the mic and let her just kind of introduce herself a little bit. Even though you guys already know her and stuff, but just if you want to ask her any questions or anything, I'm just thinking more like, what, because you moved in here now. And you're in the Viking layer,
It's official.
It's official. And so, like, what are your thoughts of moving forward? Like with the video we made yesterday and stuff, and the way things are going. What's your vision for the sort of future? What's your vision? I'm just gonna kind of give it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep up on the chats.
Yeah, I will.
Hi, guys. So super official now, busy unpacking all kinds of stuff. I would have to say, as far as where things are moving, it's going to be a lot more active in the lifestyle. We're always going to be here. The bird's going to be chirping for as long as he's alive. And
might not be that long.
I know. Uh-huh. But as far as the land goes, I have to be honest, I'm really excited for the animals, especially the dogs. Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Really excited for the dogs.
We're getting 2 cane corsos.
Yes. But I'm also excited, even though we have wonderful sources for our beef and our pork, I'm excited to have the livestock animals as well. But the most important thing that I envision when I even think about the land is just what's long term, and how much time and energy is going to be spent there with us, with kids, with our family, with nieces, with nephews, and just where it all will be when we are old. I am super excited to just see all that play out in the long run, and really just getting all the kids, especially with the new baby nephew and stuff. And Tegan, she loves nature, and so do I. I'm excited for just the land aspect mostly, but to get the kids in the earth and growing. And we have amazing food all the time, but I'm excited to expand that a little more. Get a pear tree for sure. Uh-huh. But as far as the garden aspect, that's more the brains over here and the chef. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be busy doing all the chores.
Which animals will you get first?
Well,
What are you looking forward to?
pretty sure we heard the Maine Coons, but I'm ready for the dogs.
Oh yeah.
I'm way ready for the dogs. Hmm.
Yeah, dogs big time, but also the as far as like livestock, chickens for sure. Chickens and then a hog, definitely. But the whole point of the whole thing is that we will raise everything. I have a hypothesis, well, that I know is accurate because I've been in parts of the world where this is true, where we don't buy any feed at all, and we grow and raise all of their feed for everything, even the dogs. Maybe we'll see if we can do it that way.
Yeah.
But I really think that all of that is possible. In fact, I know it is. And so it's going to be like a journey of that. It's going to be like that's what we're going to be doing. You know.
That's a really good aspect, like a really good point that you brought up, because we talked about Jerry's beef and how he consciously raised it, and we are what we eat and what they eat. And I see that being very sustainable as far as feeding our animals from the land, from our scraps, and just the conscious love that goes into even raising them all. Rabbits for the dogs, yeah.
Yes.
Good idea.
That's a very good idea. You're talking about raising meat rabbits for the dogs. That's the first thing that has me thinking that meat rabbits are worthwhile. Because I've been in operations where people have meat rabbits, and it just seems like such little, just little juice for the squeeze comparatively to like a hog or something, but a lot of people love them. So that would be good though. Meat rabbits for them, because just feeding Shiva, raw food. I mean, she's a tiny little thing, raw food, So we will, so having them massive like cane corsos and stuff will be a much bigger food bill, So yes, quail possibly also. Yeah, quail could be more dog food as well. Also eggs for the dogs, and chickens, literally chickens, for the dogs and stuff like that. So the whole rabbit for them is great. Yes,
That's a good idea.
Now you have some kind of am I correct? You have some kind of a dog training thing, right? So this is coming from experience. Is this right? Yes, correct. So when that time comes, guys, I will be asking you guys about, because here's Return to the Soil, which, what is the other name? Aaron Johnson.
Aaron Johnson.
Right. Why do they keep changing it? So got to get the, so we will ask you guys' opinions on a lot of that. So a lot of the things that will be coming are, I will not yet be an expert on, of course, like I am about mostly what we talk about now. I'm confident enough to say I'm a stone cold expert in that kind of stuff. But a lot of this stuff I will not be yet. It will take several years before I really figure things out like that. And it's a constant evolution and stuff. So we'll be asking for your tip, and then we'll try the things. We'll use our same kind of scientific mindset to do new things like that. Yeah. Like, and then we'll be able to say, okay, well, getting this animal was a total waste of time. We were in over our head, and we, didn't work out or whatever. But absolutely chickens, chickens and a hog. Because in California, in the mountains, we always had a hog. We had two, and then we could feed anything that bones and just anything that was organic. I mean, as in like carbon based almost. I mean, any kind of like living material that was once living, the hog would eat. And so the hog is like designed as to close the loop on a homestead. And so we love the past 2 years, her friend has raised a hog for us, open pastured. And so we've loved having the hog.
Yes. Yeah, we really have. Oh yeah. And the pork chops, the Asian inspired pork chops we had. It's just so different than store-bought pork. And learning how nutritious it actually is has made us consume it more.
Yes, we were under the big misconception that pork was somehow inferior to beef, but it's actually not really. If you do the research, it's every bit as nutrient dense as beef, and it has different minerals in it, so they complement each other. So it's really good. We've been eating a lot of that. We've made an orange. Think of orange chicken. Like if you go to some Asian, Oriental store restaurant, and you get an orange chicken that's like glazed in an orange sauce. That's how we made the pork chops. Slice them thin with the orange chicken. Maybe we should have that tonight. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
With over some white rice, super good. And in the new content way, like when we get the land and stuff, we'll be making videos just about that. Even though they're not like a how-to tutorial, it will be just like, this is how we made the dinner tonight, and this is our reaction to it, and it's amazing, and it'll be good stuff. That's just what I see, because if we're going to keep making content, then it has to be like that. It has to be more like, what can AI not steal? And that the human experience, it can't steal the experience of being us. So Big West is absolutely right. There will be several different test gardens, and one of my favorite ones we're going to do is a pure leaf mold garden. So this is my strongest. This would be my strongest. We'll have the Viking Growing System because that produces unbelievable amounts of food for virtually, nothing. Such little work.
I love the lack of weeds because there is more time spent. There is more time spent enjoying the time inside or outside or just doing things, and so much less time spent weeding. It is, I'm astounded because the first year it felt like I was always out there weeding every single day essentially. And if you miss a day or two, you are like, you're in the weeds big time. So I love the new system that we have. Love it.
Absolutely. Because last year we were like, this almost feels wrong. It was like, we're like, so when do we go out there and toil in the sun like the previous years, and it's like, well, you don't, because the system is dialed in, and it was just harvesting, and I wasn't even out there watering, and I wasn't mixing up aerated. I wasn't mixing up compost teas and having to clean all the stuff out because we did the soil right, and the watering was automated. So we just literally strolled through the garden and harvested all summer. It was like a dream come true.
Yeah, it really was. And to think back to the year prior, I'd be standing in watching him from the kitchen window, spending time doing all the watering and stuff. And it did feel a little wrong not being outside in the soil, but it was amazing. And it freed up time to do so many other things. I really enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah. And the plants didn't have to compete with the weeds and all that kind of stuff. And we defined it and we worked the soil. It's just the whole system just works so much better. You guys that are in the course and are implementing the system, you will see what I mean. Especially if you've been gardening for some time now. Now, a couple of you, this is your first year gardening and they stumbled into the course.
Oh, that's
so
perfect.
You're already, that's like learning to drive on a Cadillac. It's like anything less than that now is going to be like, So yeah, that's you're very fortunate with that. But definitely, Big West, we will do like, and we're even going to do a Back to Eden garden, a wood chip only, just so that we can know, and just so that we can do comparisons. But then I want a leaf only, deciduous leaves, year after year piled on top, and that's it. Nothing else. No fertilizers. Nothing else. I feel that'll be the best natural one of that sorts. Better than the Ruth Stout with the straw and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see, Pumpkins for the dogs.
Oh, yeah. That would make sense because pumpkin is really good for dogs.
Oh,
I didn't even think of that till now.
That would be good because we'll be growing lots of like Tahitian melon squash for the chickens. Gets them beta carotenes into the eggs. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Super cool. Yes, Eddie Lyles. I raise 2 hogs every year, even with my mobility issues. Nice. Yes. Yeah, they are outstanding machines of recycling. That's what we love about them. Yeah, I know. This is what I hear as well. We're not going to be trying to do like, so many of the homesteading people we see, and I've consulted on homesteads and all that stuff, and I work with people, so I have a very good idea of this. They get in over their head. They want to do too much, so they want to get a bunch of cattle. They want to get a bunch of cattle first, and then 150 chickens, and then we're going to sell chickens, and then we're going to sell beef, and then we're going to sell all this stuff without realizing the work involved. Thankfully, I've had enough time over the years to help with this with homesteads, over the course of my life and stuff, so that I know, like, okay, the stuff is serious work. It can be totally manageable if you do it right, but don't get in over your head, you know. Hmm? I've never heard about that.
Mm-mm.
Hello, welcome, my friend. Yes, good to see you
Yes.
here. Yes, it's true.
Thank you.
I got 7 acres with shop and 2 homes on it in Central Texas Hill Country for $100,000. Yeah, yeah. See, that's the thing that sucks around here is that it's farmland, and so it goes for very high dollar, and the trees have been wiped out. It's like productive farmland, so it sucks. Where I lived in Northern California, it was still wild. I mean, it was wild because you can't farm that land in that way. So you know, that's the thing. It's going to be like trying to find land. We're just going to find a little patch of woods amongst oceans of, GMO industrial ag,
Yeah.
which sucks. I mean, we'd have to go to Michigan would be the closest area, and we'd have to go quite a ways up to find some stuff that is still cheap. Still not that well. It could be that cheap. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you see things for sale in the UP for $1,000 an acre. Get 300 acres for 270 grand. Like, wow. Around here it'd be like 15 to 20,000 an acre for just farmland. So, but we got so much family here, and my brother has kids now and stuff, and so I mean, we're not leaving this area. We have to be within a drive,
Yeah.
of this. So, yes. Let's see. So, anything else about what about,
Well, this is off the garden topic, but I'm excited for the pond, and I'm excited the pond because summertime, it's great, it's amazing, but I cannot wait for that cold winter and to be in the pond versus the ice bath outside, and the sauna is just a lot more primal, and I really look forward to that as well. Hmm.
Very true, yeah, because right now we have a little ice bathing tub, but in the pond will be way better.
Yes.
Be way more like it. This is a very good idea as well. A Native American food forest on the property. Native plums, serviceberry, American groundnut. I like that. Big time.
Yeah.
We will definitely do something like that. Yes. I like it. Okay. Feed them 3 whole pumpkins over a 3-day period, and then end that 3 days later with a loaf of bread. You hide red man chewing tobacco.
What?
What? Is this for real?
Huh.
Yes. What is making you want to buy land? It is that, what makes you want to get land?
Well, the space, for one, the seclusion with hopefully the trees and creek, and to just live mostly off the land as much as we can with the food, the animals, and the kids, learning that lifestyle. Um, that's a big one, to kind of just get them out of the everyday hustle and bustle and get them learning how to do these things themselves, because right now it is very much so a technological age, and that's not really what I want for the kids. And Tegan is very fortunate right now to just kind of be around Nate big time. He's just very knowledgeable on a lot of things. She's very fortunate to have that at this point in her life, that she's still young enough to teach those things too. And if she was here, she'd be saying hi, but she's not.
Oh yeah, no,
Yes.
she definitely wants to be a part of it. She's always asking to be on it, so she will be, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the buying the land thing is that we just need space to move. I came right from 220-acre ranch in Northern California. I mean, wild area, living the mountain life for years, right back to the city. I mean, it was a massive culture shock. Took me several years to get over, but we're doing the best we can here. Thankfully we have a nice big area for garden and stuff like that, and we've got the Viking North plot, which is super awesome, and we're developing that more and more. But just to be with the pace of the land again, to be able to go outside and not have the neighbors like 10 feet away, and to build things and to have woods and to be able to all that kind of stuff, see deer again, see wildlife again and hunt them as well, and do things like that again.
A more natural rhythm with the cycle.
Yeah. Way more natural rhythm, and way better for experience for the youngsters, definitely, because there is an assault for the mind of the younger generation, and we'll not have that here, at all. And so it'll be a totally different experience. It's just the vision. It's just what I see, as here. So. Yeah, I could never move to South Carolina. We can't move any further south than northern Indiana because we need the winter. We need the cold. I can't. So, man, southern South Carolina would be a nightmare for me. Nope, I sold it. Yeah, sold it this year. The market for that stuff was way low, but I sold it. I got other things in life to think about. Not trying to be on a motorcycle, especially with as mindless as the drivers are now. When I started this, 25 years ago, riding motorcycles on the road, there was no cell phones, none. And so the people, they were still kind of morons, of course, everybody is, but on the road, but they were not as distracted. Now they are so distracted that it's terrifying. And so I don't want to put my life or my health in their hands. So I said, I'm just done. I'm done riding. Yeah, well, I know the soil is not great for the crops in the UP. That's possible. But beyond that, it's the seclusion. I lived that life in Humboldt. I know what it's like to be 2.5 hours from the nearest small little town. To be 2 hours, a long, arduous drive, 5 hours north of San Francisco, up the 101, and then another 2 hours on a little trail out into the mountains and stuff. So it comes with trade-offs, You're secluded and everything, and you got lots of land and everything, but life is just really different. I mean, I want more of a hybrid of that, and modern electricity is wonderful. Plumbing, all that. Running water is amazing to have. I mean, and we didn't have those things there. We had to get everything. We had to tap into the springs and stuff, and it's just a different way of living. So I'm convinced that there can be a hybrid version of that, and so we can thrive and do a lot with a little, So. Yes. Yes, I agree. I feel the same way. Yes. Oh, wow. Scott Miller, 43 years, same land.
Wow.
That would be amazing. The things you could do on there in that time. Yes. Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah. No, we will definitely have teaching workshops on the land. Absolutely. We'll have retreats there and stuff like that. I mean, that'll be down the road. We have to build the whole place first. You know, it's going to be 3 years before we can even get the land first. And we'll probably be like living, I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but we might have to make do with a small place, you know, in the meantime of the land. So we'll see. We don't know what it's going to be like. So, yeah, almost. Well, we went into that on the Mr. Grows It podcast that'll be out on the 28th, I think. We went into all of that because that's kind of what his channel's about. So you guys can tune into that. Yes. All right, guys. Well, we are nearing our hour. Yes. Thank you, Pam. Yes. Oh, man. 12,000 acres. Man, that's amazing. We don't have ranches like that anymore. All right, guys. Well,
thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, guys. So thank you for, you know, hanging out. And we will probably, you know, Tegan will be on here next week. And maybe Aries at some point we can have on here. And let me know ideas for content and stuff like that. But other than that, it's just going to be a different kind of thing, different show here because a lot's changing. So, all right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.